Hello again, everyone. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. Here we are again with another playlist battle. This time it's the Cowboy Junkies. And we each have our playlists. Craig came up with this one.
Yes,
And
he
so
did.
we'll either come up with our own Cowboy Junkie songs or we'll just rearrange his playlist as we see fit. So let's get to this, and then you'll pick which playlist that you like the best in the comments section. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. We are Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Mike from Hubtunes, Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, and I'm the guy who's going to draw comparisons between Cowboy Junkies and AC/DC. My name's Robert Fithen.
Well, this will be
Yeah,
interesting.
it's gonna be a short video.
Craig would be first.
Craig,
He was taken aback.
Craig got a whole bottle of wine in that glass apparently.
Should have put two in there. My God. Okay. Cowboy Junkies are very special to me. So I'm going to, there's knives. Knives will be drawn.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You see what I did there. It's technically a top 20, but it's really not because the two that prior or whatever, they're really honorable mentions because they're covers that they did that I really, really enjoy. But I didn't feel like they necessarily fell in line with the my real favorites. So in 2004, they did on their album One Till Now. If you got the deluxe edition, it came with a bonus CD that had 4 or 5 covers on it, and one of them was of The Cure's 17 Seconds. And I just really like Margot's voice. You cannot stream it. I know you can listen to it on YouTube. Later in 2021, they released this, which is called The Recollection, which this is basically a cover album, but it's all cover songs that they did previously. It's got 5 Years, Bowie. Oh, this doesn't have Helpless on it. I thought it did, which they covered that as well. But that was on that one, so now, like, special disc. Recollection. And then it was on the Trinity Sessions from 1988, their cover of Sweet Jane, which I just adore their version of that. So now getting into my top 18 from their 2004 album that I just mentioned, One Soul Now, My Wild Child, which was the single off of that. I believe they also did a cover of U2's One on that record, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm not a fan of that, but I like my Wild Child. Number 17 would be off of my favorite Cowboy Junkies record from 1996 would be Lay It Down, and the song Musical Key. And I love the story that, my mother sang, or my mother said in the sweetest, blah, blah, though she never sang, she said it in a musical key, because I can't fucking remember lyrics right now. Whatever. Anyways, I just love the relationship that she has with her parents and the story and their, and You Are a Part of Me. And really that song, not necessarily the relationship I had with my father, but it really resonates to me, the relationship I had with my mom, and the things that she would say were very musical, although woman could not sing. And she's like, there was no musical key. Also from this record would be the opening track, Something More Besides You. And, it's a tell of there is something more besides you. And so often and frequent in my life, I think I've just focused on the other person more than myself. And so that's another one that just really resonates with me. From their 2023, their most recent album at number 15, From Such Ferocious Beauty, would be Knives. I love the funky little beat to it. Knives will be drawn. It's just That's where they came from before. This is a beautiful record. Such a beautiful, ferocious beauty record, whatever. But yeah, Knives Will Be Drawn. I do not have it. It has been released on vinyl, but it's really hard to find. From 2007, from the album At the Ends of Paths Taken, would be My Only Guarantee, which can kind of be a little cheesy because of the children's chorus and stuff and the la la las. But my only guarantee is I will fuck you up. And I have always thought of that in two different ways. I'm either going to fuck you up severely because you're in a relationship with me, or I'm going to fuck you up because you fucked me up. So it's just, there's this different message. But listening to Margot just so beautifully say, my only guarantee is I will fuck you up. And it's so beautiful and melodic. And
I always took that as her warning. I'm gonna fuck you up.
yeah,
Because
I'm going to
I am
fuck you
terrible
up.
in relationships.
Right. And that's kind of, yeah. It's this is the very first song I ever heard by Cowboy Junkies. It's the first album that I heard by them. My ex-fiance, Crescent Ivy Ratliff, she introduced me to the Cowboy Junkies, and she had this album, and obviously this is the opening track on it, hence being the first song that I ever heard by Cowboy Junkies. So from Pale Sun Crescent Moon from 1990, would be the song Crescent Moon. And I love the tail it weaves. And it's divine, and she's divine. And it's still, this record, like I said, Lay It Down is my favorite, but this record is always going to be very special to me because it was the first time I heard Margot's voice. To me, angelic. Let's see. From the album Open from 2001, the first single off of it, I'm So Open. Then we are going back to, you'll see this record a lot, at number 11, which is the first single off the album Lay It Down, which is A Common Disaster. Share with me your common disaster. It was a little, I think it's kind of like more of one of the upbeat songs off the record. This is very mellow, which is my jam. We all know that. And yeah. So from the album, same song, same title, 1998, from Miles From Our Home, the title track, Miles From Our Home. And we are, yeah. And that one just resonates again with me because I am miles from my home. From 2018, from All That Reckoning, The Things We Do to Each Other. It's like Margot is singing my life. I think that's why I just love the Cowboy Junkies so very freaking much. Also from Lay It Down, Angel Mine. I can't promise that I'll grow these wings or keep this tarnished halo shine, but I'll never betray your trust, Angel Mine. And it's just beautiful. From the most recent, this was the first single off of this record from 2023, Such Ferocious Beauty, we have What I Lost. And I woke up this morning and just the tales she's telling, and this is what I lost. We lose lots of things. I lost my keys earlier, but is this the first time this one's making an appearance? I think so, yeah. From the Trinity Sessions from 1988, number 6. It's actually not on the vinyl version. It's on the reissue that they did that is 2 discs, but on the original, my original US pressing of this, Blue Moon Revisited, sung for Elvis, is not on that. So this one could technically be considered a cover because it's got lyrics to Blue Moon in it, but she also has her original lyrics in there. And I love the way that they have melted these two, their new lyrics, and then that's that bass. Boom, 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 boom. Give me the vapors. Let's number
The
5
Vapors.
from I've gotten the vapor. So number 5, Pale Sun Crescent Moon. Ring on the Cell, this tragic tale of a couple that is distancing from each other. And, you know, she puts the ring on the sill and the dishes are piled high and they're just not getting along. And they kind of get along, I think, at the end of the song, but it's just, oh my God, this is just so freaking beautiful. From Lay It Down from 1996 would be Lonely Seeking Feeling, because again, we all know I'm tragic and I love a tragic tale and I love to feel tragic because that's this bitch. Lonely sinking feeling coming over me.
In many ways, your list was really quite predictable.
It really was.
Thank you. Maybe not all the way. Maybe there were a couple that weren't, but
Well, no,
but it is, yes, it's I'm tragic. Well, I don't think I'm tragic. I just love tragic songs. All right. Also from the Trinity Sessions. Misguided. Oh, that's not Trinity Sessions. God fucking Jesus Christ. That's the wrong one. From Trinity Sessions. This is very difficult to, and
No, they have a lot of albums.
21.
And I don't even have nearly enough.
Have they done a reissue campaign on a lot of their stuff?
All European. So
really?
Nothing in the US, yeah. And a few in Canada, which you would think more of them would be there, but whatever.
Yeah. And still a lot of their stuff is still only CD.
A lot of it has not been released on vinyl. And if it has, it's really it's either original or the reissues are even hard to get. So I'm very lucky I have Pale Sun Crescent Moon. Like that one's really hard to get now. But okay, so from number 3, so number 3 from the Trinity Sessions would be Misguided Angel. Heart Like a Lucifer. Oh, that song. Sorry, I'm gonna get all emotional. So
I told you to cry.
You what? You told me what?
I told you nothing. In the pre-show meeting, I said you were gonna cry during this video.
Possibly. Where the hell did that album go? So my number 2 favorite song from Pale Sun Crescent Moon 1993 would be Anniversary Song. And it's happy and it's, just to wake up and have coffee and I don't necessarily need to wear a ring because I've been there, done that. Don't need to do, but just I love the hopefulness of it. And like I've always been this kind of whatever, but I just love that song so very much. And I'll share a cup of coffee and I'll wear your ring. Oh, so good. Number 1, maybe because it's my theme song, maybe it's because I constantly feel this way, but what?
I think I know what it is.
The album that I tried to show earlier when I shouldn't have, but number 1 from the Caution Horses, and there's other songs that should have also been in this list from this record because this is a brilliant record. Sun Comes Up, It's Tuesday Morning comes in mind, but that's not number 1. Number 1 for me is Cause Cheap Is How I Feel. And yes.
What's the name of that album?
Caution Horses.
Caution Horses. Is that the only song on your list from that album?
Yes. I told you, like, Sun Comes Up, It's Tuesday Morning. Like, this is a brilliant record. Oh, this has Powderfinger on it.
Oh, never mind.
Oh God, You Will Be Loved Again. Where Are You Tonight? Oh, God. It's a fantastic record.
All right, that was Craig's playlist.
Oh, God.
Now it's time to see what Mike brings to the table.
Mike, you tell me how much you hate it.
No, I hate no.
Hate is a strong word.
They have 21 albums.
They have 21.
I had no idea this
And
band
they've
had
got
21
about 3
albums.
different songs.
I thought they maybe had 8. So I thank you so much for making a list of 20 songs or 18 songs, whatever you had. So I didn't have to listen to all those records. Because I do like to dig into, when we do these, I like to listen to a lot of their other stuff, because there is other stuff that I might like a lot more. But I know the Cowboy. I thought I knew the Cowboy Junkies a lot better than I did. Because I had the Trinity Sessions when that came out. I bought that. But I guess I didn't buy much else. And they were on the radio here and there, but not a lot.
No.
And I basically know, and I think all of us were, Craig, you were introduced for a different song, but they did a cover of a song that I absolutely love. And I think their cover is one of the worst versions I've ever heard of it. And I absolutely cannot stand it. And that is Sweet Jane. I cannot. I get it. You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that they made it their own. And that's what every band who does a cover version should do. You don't want to repeat exactly what the artist did. I get that. But man, that puts me to sleep. I really, really. So that's really how I was introduced. And then I went through your list and I pulled out 10 songs that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
7 of them, I don't like their sleepy songs. First of all, her vocals are, Jesus. Her vocals are sublime. They're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Like a lot of those sleepy songs I was listening to, and it was her vocals that were just like, oh, she is unreal. Top notch vocalist. You can't argue with that. And they're the best at what they do. Because I don't know what they do, but they're really good at what they do. They got a thing down, and they're really good at it. I'm starting my list off with Sweet Jane, obviously what I just did. They also do 2 other covers. I know we don't do tops and bottoms on this list, on this video, but these are my 3 bottoms. And that cover of Powderfinger is one of the most horrendous things. That makes Sweet Jane sound great. Their cover of Powderfinger is awful. And their cover of Walking After Midnight, oh.
And that one's not the best, but
not good. Not good at all.
Best, yeah.
So I just get that out of the way. So I got 7 songs that really caught my ear. I definitely like the more upbeat stuff, the stuff with a little more pep to it. A little more interesting. The sleepy, tragic songs. That that's not me, Craig. It's just not my, But so these 7 songs, really, I want to go back and visit. I didn't have enough time to visit them. I listened to them like 3 times. But these are songs that I would definitely go back and listen to again. And maybe I would like, I think maybe it's a band that I need a little more time with, or maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But What Is Lost, I really liked. I thought that was a terrific song. The Things We Do to Each Other, I dug that. A Common Disaster, I really liked. I love that. Yeah, that one I'm definitely up to going back. All of these 7 songs, I definitely would. The song I'm So Open, really, I listened to that like 4 or 5 times. I really enjoyed that. Song Crescent Moon. Right? It's really good. And her vocals are just on all these songs. And then the Anniversary song. That one and my number 1 are definitely my favorites. Anniversary song, definitely my number 2. And number 1, I just really dig. This is by far my favorite of everything that you had on your list, and that's Knives. I
So
dug
good.
that song. It has a really cool groove to it, and
Mhm.
it's just it stood out of the 18 whatever 20 songs you had on your list. That is the one song that stood out to me, and I was like, oh, I like this, and it kept me going. It got me through the whole. I really dug it. I wish more of their stuff sounded like that. I really like that
So
song.
such ferocious beauty. What I lost at the 2 songs that you really, what I lost in Knives, they're from that record, and that
Right.
record is very, it's very. That's kind of the like how. What is the word? I'm gonna have some wine.
Oh, good. 'Cause
That is kind of like how that record is. It's not the sleepy time.
So maybe I need
So
to
check out Such
delve into
Ferocious
that album.
Beauty, and you might like that record. And
What's
then
it
the other
called?
one, Such Ferocious Beauties.
Okay. I'm putting it on my. Well,
And then
I'm not putting
lay
it
it
on my
down
hard
with
drive list.
yeah.
I did that the other day at 5 a.m. and I almost drove off the road. Not that the music was making me drive off the road. I was falling asleep listening to it.
Oh, careful now. God damn it! Go ahead, Tiffin.
That's
They are called the Cowboy Junkies. Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised. I think. I don't know. Robert, what do you think?
I was surprised too, because usually when we do these, I either already don't like the band or I already like the band. And that goes with the album reviews mostly over the playlist things. And then there's been times where I didn't think I really cared for somebody or didn't really know a lot about them. And then I got pleasantly surprised. I think Gary Newman comes to mind. I became a fan of his because of the album that we had to review.
Gary
PJ
Newman?
Harvey, I dismissed her and definitely need to, because of that Down by the River song, didn't realize that the rest of the album was way better than that song. So then now I like that album. I want to hear more of her later stuff. I was always in love with her early stuff and just things like that. The people will come up with albums and it's like, oh, well, I really like. This is the only time I can remember, it's got to be the only time, where we've done a band that I thought I liked, and it turns out I really don't like them. So it really kind of made me reassess the group, because I was more familiar with their early albums, and one in particular that I really liked that came out in '92, Lay It Down, and the Trinity Session.
Yeah.
And I always meant to get Pale Sun Crescent Moon. But the rest, and then White's Off Earth Now, just because that's the first one and it's supposed to be kind of different or whatever. But I didn't really know about the other ones, and for this I listened because I, like Mike said, I like to get my own songs in there and see what I like, and then I look at the playlist after that to see how many I matched up with. I listened to 9 Cowboy Junkies albums within a 5-day period, and I do not recommend that.
You need methadone after that.
Oh my god! No, you don't. You need cocaine. Like I always said with this album, the Trinity Session, it's the kind of thing you listen. You have to be in the right mood. It has to be the right time, and you put it on and you play the whole thing. Picking out individual songs really kind of exposes the fact that the songs themselves really aren't that great. It's the overall album experience, especially this album, which is their most critically acclaimed album. I can't really, and I didn't realize this at the time, or before, I can't really pick out a song on here and be like, oh my God, highlight of the album. A lot of people would say it is the cover of Sweet Jane. That is the highlight of the album. But I can't really, it's the whole album experience. It's not, I can't pick out songs and be like, this song's great, this song's whatever. When I start trying to do that, it's kind of like, well, that's not that great of a song. Well, that one's not either. Oh, okay, well, on its own, that's not really a great song. And so I don't even have any songs from this on my list, which I didn't see that coming. I got 10. I can go ahead and mention them if you want.
Yes.
That's what we're here for.
That's why we make these videos.
Knives, Or wait, Rockin' Bird is first. It's an interesting song about a bird and is carrying a rock and the rock. Anyway, I thought that was some nice visuals. That's from
Is that Black Eyed Man?
Caution Horses.
Oh,
Caution
Horses, yeah.
And then number 9 is Knives. Just
love it.
more because of the music and all of that. 8 is a one I liked before all of this, called "Hold On to Me." It is a love song, but I still liked it. From the Let It Down album. The one before that I was not familiar with. Number 8, The Possessed. A little bit different about the devil, and you're the devil, I'm the devil, whatever it was saying. 30 Summers again before that with the from the Caution Horses. I thought that was pretty good. Kind of a different thing going on there. And then numbers 5 through 2 are all from this. They're all from Black Eyed Man. I've liked these the whole time, and I wish more of their albums would sound like this. Townes Blues got a great upbeat bass line going on. Of course, Townes Van Zandt is who they're talking about there. Became friends with the band, wrote a song for the band. Southern Rain before that, kind of a woman who, she's in the South and she wants that southern rain, and the rain kind of washes everything away. Oregon Hill is number 3 because the hoods are up. And I don't think they mean car hoods. And it's just another observation of a whole town and the people in the town, and they're not very good people, and it's not a very good town. Number 2, though, is an even better observation of a town and the mysterious goings on in the town, and it's a great, like, again, 2 a.m. is when you listen to Cowboy Junkies, and that's The Street, This Street, That Man, This Life. It's got, just this mysterious happenings on this particular street, and you can just visualize this nighttime in this mysterious town, and the dark things going on this street. And number 1 was the first song that I really fell in love with for the Cowboy Junkies. The very first time I heard this, I'm like, wow. I'd heard Black Eyed Man on CD a couple of times, but I'm like, I got to start listening to Black Eyed Man more, and I've got to get this CD called Lay It Down, and that's the song A Common Disaster, just mostly because of the music. And Crooked as a Snake in Water, I thought was a great line. And so when we were doing this, I thought, I'm going to hear some more songs like A Common Disaster. I'm going to hear some more atmospheric songs like Oregon Hill and Southern Rain and The Street, This Man, This Life. And I realized that no. What I'm going to hear is 9 albums of relationship breakdowns. I'm alone in my bed. I'm dreaming of somebody who's not here anymore. I'm longing for this person that left. And she is dreaming in that bed in like 12 different songs. It's like she's Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka has got nothing on this woman. I'd hate to see what the condition of this bed. But she is always dreaming in this bed. And it's just the same thing over.
Don't be in bed.
Doing bad.
Over.
What you doing bad?
It's like, woman, come on. And my mind starts wandering during albums 7, 8, or 9, and it just starts going off into these places, like thinking like about songwriters and the morality of songwriters, and is it okay to be a songwriter who panders and profits off of people's misery? And it started to sound really trite and just not. I didn't believe her anymore. Yes, her vocals are great, and her vocals are echoey and they're mysterious and whatever. But I stopped believing her, and I'm like, this is getting trite. This is getting forced. And I started thinking, because there are groups that will do happy songs, and they're called corny and sappy because they're always doing happy. Let's get the audience happy to forget about their problems for 2 hours. That's why everybody's here. And the singer themselves might not be happy, and they have to fake it. I think that's better than a singer who's probably happy and has to fake this sadness and sorrow album after album after album. I refuse to believe that this woman has been in bed dreaming about some lost love for 35 years. That is not happening. And by the way, these are siblings in this group, and her brother is the one that writes all the songs. So not only do you have a man writing all of this for a woman to sing, which is another pet peeve of mine. And I mentioned it several times, these rules that, oh my God, the only thing a woman can sing about is how this man controls her happiness level, how a man is giving her self-value and her self-worth. Every song about some goddamn man who's not there anymore, or a man who is there making her unhappy at the kitchen fucking sink. It was too much. It was too much all at once. And I really walked away with a different perspective of the Cowboy. There is no other album like this one. Pale Sun Crescent Moon is kind of like it. They do the Trinity session. They get all of this this critical acclaim. Then they do, like later on in like 98, they do this kind of Sheryl Crow kind of sound where they're trying to get on the radio. Doesn't work. So then album after album after album after album, they go back to this. And it's like AC/DC. It's like they meet their peak, as far as commercial success.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And every album after that is the same album over and over and over and over for 30 years.
So,
and that's the Cowboy Junkies.
What is the name of that album that you just keep showing?
The Trinity Session.
No, the other one.
No,
Black Eyed Man.
And that's not on iTunes.
Oh wow. It's
and
92.
neither is the one that Craig just showed me.
Okay.
I mean, I love it when an artist goes through like a bad thing or loss or something and then makes an album and expresses real loss and whatever. That I love, because if you're feeling that, you can relate to the realism of that, and you know that you're not alone because somebody else is feeling. That's what great music like that is for. But album after album, I mean, make a whole career out of it is like, come on.
Well, I mean,
they are a moving band, but
but it's a little cynical.
And it works for them.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't seem real.
I mean, if AC/DC,
but it is real though, because
what record, we'd all be fucking pissed.
But AC/DC's different, because there's a difference between going, "Oh yeah," and not really meaning it, because the whole audience goes, "Oh yeah." There's a difference than kind of capitalizing off of sorrow for 30 years. I mean, there's just a difference.
You do have
capitalizing off of tits and beer for 30 years.
Well, people like tits and beer, and tits and beer takes
I
you
do
away.
And I like that.
I don't like either one, but it takes you away from your problems. It takes you away from all of that. It doesn't make you wallow in it when it's not real.
Well, people get taken away from their problems by music differently, and have different experiences with different music.
But I think sad music, you get taken away from your problems by relating to it. Like, oh, someone else feels like I feel. I don't feel alone anymore. When it's not real and it becomes like your product, it's kind of like it's not.
Well, that's your reaction to it.
But that's your reaction to it.
It falls into the same. It goes from being an artist to a performer.
I think they all have.
It's like an
product.
actor.
Goes into becoming a product.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll be.
Go ahead.
Well, my take on the Cowboy Junkies, my first exposure to them was when this album Trinity Sessions was released. I had it on cassette.
Yeah, I did.
And I wore out that cassette. I had to get another one. Then eventually I got it on CD, and then eventually I got it on vinyl. And to me, it did have a lot of critical notoriety to it, but and a lot of that I didn't know about because I was living in the mountains. So I was just responding to the album itself while I was listening to it. And I just thought it was, and I still think, that it's a fantastic album, both as like you were saying, Robert, as a whole experience,
right? But
there are also some of these individual songs I really connect with on an individual level, and I didn't hear a lot of Cowboy Junkies until later. Eventually I think the next album that I got, I actually burned a copy from the library. I do not have a real copy, but that is, what is it? Pale Sun Crescent Moon.
You still have the copy of the
CD? Yes, I still have the copy
from the library.
And then the next one, I got was Black Eyed Man, which is probably, again, as an entire album, I think it's probably my favorite release. And then I have the Caution Horses. And then that's it, all I have. So when Craig shared his list, I went through and created my list from these releases first. Got my list of 20. Then I went to his list and started going through listening to the ones that he had identified that were not already on my list to see if they would bump anything off. And there were a couple songs that did. But there are a couple. Some of these songs, especially my number one, I've got a lot to say about that number one in terms of its personal meaning for me. But starting at 20 is one of Craig's songs, Something More Besides You from Lay It Down. It bumped some of my other lower choices off the list. And then at number 19, another one from the Lay It Down album, Angel Mine. I really, really liked that song. Then at number 18, I have I put the covers, that they did in my list. And I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry from Trinity Session. The song, one of the things to me about Margot Timmons' voice is how ethereal it is. And especially when she is singing this song, especially the line about when the lonesome whippoorwill sings. We're from the Midwest. I'm sure you've all heard whippoorwill at night. It's just, it is a beautiful line, a beautiful song. It's really hard to, when we get to the top 10, I think those songs for me are really better than the rest, but these next ones, they could be in any order.
Yeah.
Number 17 is the title song Black Eyed Man from Black Eyed Man. And then number 16 is Crescent Moon from Pale Sun Crescent Moon. And then the other thing too, that what I like about the combination of Margot Timmons' voice and her brother's guitar playing and that accordion, everything is so understated to me. And it's done in such a beautiful way. The songs that they tend to get more on the rock and roll or country rock train kind of thing, to me, those songs strike me as less than sincere. But when they're doing those songs where there's the mood that is going on, and the tone that he is getting out of the guitar, and then the combination of her voice, and thinking, okay, we're going back to the 1980s, yeah. All right, and they're still touring. I got my ticket to go see them when they're here in Evanston, and her voice sounds just the same to me as it did, in 1988.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She still has that. And she still is a really gorgeous woman. But anyway, where was I? Number 15 is from the Caution Horses, and this is a song that Craig had, and that's "'Cause Cheap Is How I Feel." Like that song really well. And the next one is also a song from Craig's list, from All That Reckoning, The Things We Do to Each Other. Really, really like that. Then at number 13, I had Sweet Jane from the Trinity Sessions. I like their cover of it. It was higher in my list, though, but because of a couple songs of Craig's, bumped it down out of my top 10. Then at number 12 is First Recollection from Pale Sun Crescent Moon. That is Right now, I know I listened to this the other night, but right now I'm having trouble remembering the melody to it. But it was one that, and it's not the highest one of Craig's. He's got a couple more that got higher up in my list, that I really really liked. But then, all right, Sweet Jane, then First Recollection, then What I Lost from Such Ferocious Beauty at number 11. And then now we get into the top 10. So Black Eyed Man, that album for number 10 is Murder Tonight in the Trailer Park. I mean, it's almost kind of like I don't know, it's just a great song about, it is a story song, and I just, I like her. I just like her voice in singing with that song. In the way she's singing it, it's not like she's singing about this tragic murder in the trailer park. It's just it's like she's announcing it. Hey man, there's murder in the trailer park. Knives at number 9 from Such Ferocious Beauty. And then number 8, I have from Black Eyed Man, Towns Blues. It's a really good song. I really, really liked that one. And like I say, Black Eyed Man is probably my favorite release. 7 Years at number 7 from Pale Sun Crescent Moon. I would love to get a real copy of it, but I'm afraid that it's not that easy to find anymore. Then let's see, number 6, Blue Moon Revisited, Song for Elvis from the Trinity Session. Really, really like that. And now the next 5. Miles from Our Home, from the album Miles from Our Home. Craig, I think you had that at number 10. I have it at number 5. I really liked the song, but the video, I really, really liked the video.
Yeah.
Because I was beginning to hear more now in their songs of this open heart, not just to people in general, but an open heart to gay people, to lesbian people, to non-conforming people, that there was this openness, and the story that was being told visually that accompanied that song really touched me. And if there was anyone who was going to cry while listening to a song, that it would be me, and it would be during that song. It just really, really touches me. Miles from Our Home. Then number 4, A Horse in the Country, which, as I was teasing Craig before, what? That's not on your list? But yeah, this is, I get to see him, or I get to write him every second Sunday. It's a beautiful song about infidelity. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a wonderful relationship song. And then 200 More Miles from Trinity Session. So it's just got this almost dreary, droning beat, and it's like you're in the truck cab with this driver. I got 200 more miles of this great asphalt to go before I sleep, and it's like, all right, is it because he's going to a destination, or is the 200 more miles the rest of his life? When his life is over. And he's just thinking about this regret of this person that he left behind in Atlanta. And I always like the line, and Tulsa burns on the desert floor. I don't know, just that line, I always really liked it. Hunted at number 2 from Pale Sun Crescent Moon, because that killer guitar tone. It's just, man, it's just, and again, that's one of the things I like about Cowboy Junkies is everything is so restrained, but at the same time, to me, it's just really, really intense. And then, that's when I begin to think, yeah, they picked the right name for their band, Cowboy Junkies. It's just, yeah. And my number one song is Misguided Angel from Trinity Sessions. I can relate to that song so much because she's telling her parents or siblings, that, yeah, I know this guy is probably bad for me. I know this guy, is bad or whatever, but I still love him, and I'm going to be going with him no matter what else you say. And I relate to that so much because there have been times in my life when I'm dating somebody that I get a lot of disapproval, from family members, and sometimes for friends, and I'm like, first of all, why are you telling me about relationships when you've been divorced twice? It's always that person, who is, trying to school you on relationships. Whereas like my siblings who have been married for years and years and years to the same person, never say a word, about it, about my choices in men or whatever. And I'm the kind of person anyway, I feel like Neil Young, we all got love to burn. So I feel like, yeah, there is not just one person for me, that's going to be the only one. So yeah, there have been many, and I expect there will be many more. Yeah, in the future. And that's what I like about that song, Misguided Angel. I know what I'm getting into. You don't need to tell me what I'm getting into. I still love this guy. Okay.
This guy, love you till I'm dead.
And so yeah, that's my number one song. It's just I could listen to that on repeat over and over and over again, and to me it doesn't get old. And I think that I would prefer my playlist better if they play the songs from when I go see them at the show in Evanston. But either way,
they're not
play any of these songs.
When you walk in the door, hand your playlist to the guy.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, I'll tape it to the stage. I'll tape it to the stage and see if it somebody goes, what's this? So, but yeah, Cowboy Junkies. I definitely have been an important musical experience for me, in my life, and they continue to be. They've got a lot of stuff, recent stuff, I don't care for. It is a little bit too homogenized. It's a little bit too much, a little too much product. But there's a lot.
How can you say something like that?
But that when you said that there's like 20 releases, I mean, I can't think of a single band that has that many releases where you could honestly say every single one of them, was a hit. There's going to be
you like them all, yeah.
Well, okay.
But anyway, I think this was a good playlist, and some of your songs, Craig, did find their way into mine. But I could also see from your playlist, I'll go, oh yeah, I can see why Craig picked this one. Oh yes, I know.
Tragic.
But they're all good. It's all good.
I am so emotionally invested in Cowboy Junkies.
And that's why we do this shit. That's why we listen to music. It doesn't matter, if I like it or Craig likes it or
I don't think Craig's going to stop liking the Cowboy Junkies because of something I said. I'm just explaining myself.
I'm not saying that.
I just had an experience, and I think it's a.
No, I would never. No, I would like them more to just you, Robert.
Well, I think
I
this
don't know
band.
What he said, but it got cut out. Probably don't want to know what he said.
There he is. He's back.
Everything got cut off, but yeah.
I think this band is, like Robert said, an album experience. I think if I walked into a party, well, it wouldn't be a lively party, but if I walked into a
no,
party,
it would not.
You would listen to them alone. First of all, I don't think you listen to them in a party.
But if I walked into a dinner party and
I would say at a party.
one of their random albums was playing, I guarantee you, I'd be like, "Wait, who is this?" I know I would be totally into whatever album they were playing at that moment. I think, and I love that we do these videos, but I think having to listen to 20 Cowboy Junkie songs, like, because I have to, maybe kind of turn me off a little bit. I think if I had just been able to, like, casually listen to a couple of their records, I think I would have been more into it. But having to listen to, like, and Craig's playlist is great. I mean, thank you for putting it together. But having to, like, boom, 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 that
and then rank
probably
them
wasn't.
and
Imagine how
remember
they
each
make
one
you
and where
listen
it goes
to
in your list.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait till I give you my playlist then.
It just wasn't the best way to
imagine
get
if-
familiar with a band. I don't think it's the best way to get familiar with any band, to be honest. But I think a lot of
I
these
get
songs,
it.
especially
Well, I
in
mean,
the
it
top
can
10,
be. It's just not a band like this where a lot of their songs are about the same thing. It gets redundant. But I think it's like with a different band, it would be like when your friend used to give you a cassette of their favorite.
Yeah, but I need
Whatever,
to
it's
digest that cassette. I mean, I always need to, like, listen to a record and then take time away from the record and then come back to the record.
Right.
And when we do these things, we don't have that time.
But
we
the
got
Cowboy
a week,
Junkies
maybe
are
two.
not a 3:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday.
They're not a
driving down
5
the
Or
road.
a.m.
driving down the
Drive
road.
to-
I
Yeah.
can't believe you were listening to it while you were driving down the road.
Well,
At
if you're
5 a.m.,
driving
I
at
have a-
midnight on a lonely highway, then it's great. You know.
I went
That's
through
the way the
and
Trinity.
most of
I
the
heard the
time I
Trinity
listen-
session like that one time, and that's exactly how that should be listened to. Or when you're all alone in your house and the windows are open and it's 2:00 in the morning on a summer night or whatever. But, trying to
go to
listen
bed
to
at
9
9.
albums in a 4-day period, and they're the later. You guys are doing your list. You're putting all the early songs on there. I was never talking about the early songs. I'm talking about the later albums where it seems like they're in their zone and they know what the people want and they're going to give it to them. An album after same thing as AC/DC.
So,
They'll sell
anyways, I saw Margot in the lobby of my hotel.
Did you chase it?
And no, because I started crying the second time. The second I saw her, I was so emotionally distraught, and like our rooms division manager's like, "Why don't you go introduce yourself?" And I was crying talking to her. I was like,
She
"I
should have wrote a
can't."
song about you in her
And
bed.
And so no, I did not meet Margot, but I saw her from a distance, and I saw Michael as well because her and Michael were hanging out. But yeah,
I was in my
Craig.
hotel bed dreaming about this clerk that I just met who was crying.
well, excuse me,
It's
I
called
was a
Hotel Man.
director of revenue at that time. I was not a clerk.
That's the name of the song. Director of Revenue.
Director of revenue management. Thank you very much is what I was at that point.
He was a
So,
money man.
Craig, we
At a
have to get you to
hotel.
the show in
The
Chicago.
Blue Hotel over
now he's
on
gonna go to
Pine
Chicago.
We have
Yeah,
to
all
get
right.
you to the show.
Richard, what
So
are
you can
what
tell
is
her.
So the
and then it's
playlist
Richard and then it's Mike.
that I will put together for you, but the musical artists talk about a huge catalog. But I don't think it's going to be, as big a chore or a deal. I think we all probably have some familiarity, and I'll put my playlist together to show you guys, what I'm thinking about. But I think you'll probably find it easy to come up with your own. And I just have this one. This is not the only album I have by this musician, but that's what I'm going to hold up. B.B. King is my playlist. So I'll put together a list of B.B. King singles.
Yes, please.
And
I only know the Thrill Is Gone.
oh, all right. So, but that's our next
Beth Hart
playlist.
did it with him, so.
And you're holding up a live album, so does that include
Yeah.
live song? Because he does like
It has
different-
to.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
has
there's.
to.
I think anything is fair game
Yeah.
with him. So, but so yeah, you could decide if you like
Like
a
Johnny Cash.
live version
You
or
have to
studio
put live
version.
albums.
I just picked this album to hold up because I thought the cover was, the best one to hold up.
Where they boo the
Um,
sheriff at the beginning.
And you've been in that jail.
I've been near that jail.
Me too.
In it.
Very close to
So,
it.
BB King.
BB
And Doris
King.
Day. Nobody gets
Oh,
that-
that'll be
okay.
fun. That's something
Nobody
totally
gets that
different.
reference.
I got it.
I didn't, but I got a lot of this. I was not trying to push my Cowboy Junkies on you. I thought it was my turn.
You might have been.
Craig, the Pusher Man with
Yeah,
the
the
Cowboy
Pusher-
Junkie.
I am the
Junkies.
pusher man with my Cowboy Junkies. Let's get the needles. Yeah, all right. Shit.
The
What
pusher
kind of name
man.
is that, too? Cowboy Junkies. Anyway, join us for BB King playlist battle, as well as the
That'll be
tops and bottoms of 2010, and Dolly Parton, I think.
Yeah, we got Dolly coming up.
The grass is blue.
Guess which one of us picked Dolly?
Richard.
Wasn't me. I still had her in a timeout.
We got all
That's-
kinds of shit going on. We are busy
Yeah.
uncles.
Yeah.
We're busy fucking
Busy
Guncles.
Guncles. We're out of Gunkling.
Can't wait to see those comments about the Cowboy Junkies.
Do
Because
not make
only
me
people
cry.
watching this video are going to be fans of the Cowboy Junkies, so I'm going to be really
I
pumped.
mean, why wouldn't you? Yeah,
Right.
you have to.
I am Robert Fithen, Fithen is how you spell my last name. Along
It's
with
right there on the screen.
It's right there.
Richard at Calvin Wazoo. Will it do it? No, I guess it's not going to do it.
No, it's not. And I'm the guy that's a plethora of.
Richard's got a heart
Wow.
off.
I need to get my heart on.
Right.
Right. Don't
There
There it is.
Aww. Smooth.
Oh, are you done, Craig, with your? Yeah. And Mike.
Whoever the fuck I am.
We're a bunch of cowboy junkies here tonight.
Yeah, we're slow and sleepy.
Like my warning.
Hopefully, we'll talk to you again next time.
Cheers.